Republicans want to lose guys like me and a whole bunch of still God-fearing, Bible-believing people. Go ahead and just abdicate on this issue, and while you're at it, go ahead and say abortion doesn't matter either.
Right.
Because at that point, you lose me. I'm gone.
Right.
I'll become an independent. I'll start finding people that have guts to stand. I'm tired of it.
All right, there you go. That's Mike Huckabee making that statement yesterday that if Republicans fail to fight for traditional marriage, he's gone. Joining us now, Jennifer Rubin, columnist and author of the Right Turn blog at the Washington Post. Jennifer, your piece today, one of your many pieces today, Snake Oil Salesman versus Gay Marriage Reality. Is Mike Huckabee one of your snake oil salesmen?
Unfortunately, he is, and I like Mike Huckabee. I think he probably knows better than this. I would like to hear from him, and I couldn't get out of two of his advisors what he thinks Republicans are supposed to do. Remember, by court edict, however we got here, we now have gay marriage legalized, I believe, in 31 states plus the District of Columbia, and there are going to be a few more once Justice Kennedy lists his stays. There are going to be about 35 states that have gay marriage, whether they wanted it or not, they have it. How is he going to undo that? Where do the states come for a constitutional amendment? How long does he think the other states are going to hold out, and what would he propose people do to keep them from adopting the same legal judgment that the rest of the states have? I think it's really unfair to other Republicans who are not pleased with this, who did not want either gay marriage at all or didn't want it to come through judicial action, to say that they're capitulating or they're squishes simply because they've looked at this and said, okay, I see reality. You know what this reminds me of? The shutdown. It's that same mentality. We're going to fight for the same sake of fighting. Anyone who doesn't want to fight with us is a squish, and we're going to take our marbles and go home. I got news for him. The Republican Party is the only pro-life party there is, and if that issue is still important to Governor Huckabee, religious liberty is still important, he better stick with the Republican Party, because Hillary Clinton is not going to protect his interests. Harry Reid is not going to protect his interests. Nancy Pelosi is not going to protect his interests. So where he's going to get political sway from if he leaves the Republican Party, I do not know. But I think this is grandstanding, and I think it's unfortunate. There's a lot of things that social conservatives can be doing and are doing, and we would hate to have them distracted and to break up what has been a productive coalition for 30, 40 years now.
But some might argue that, the abortion issue, Roe v. Wade was decided by the Supreme Court, and yet, that fight has gone on. You even referenced it. So what's really the difference? The
difference is that the pro-life community, number one, is winning the hearts and minds of Americans, and that is absolutely crucial. You see them maintaining, if not increasing, the amount of Americans. The anti-gay marriage group has not convinced Americans. The statistics, the polling is going in the other direction. And secondly, the pro-life movement did something very, very smart, and that is they said, okay, we have Roe v. Wade, not going away anytime soon. We're not going to get a constitutional amendment anytime soon. By the way, that's no longer a requirement for getting a endorsement from any pro-life groups. But what can we do? We can go after regulations for abortion clinics. We can go after partial birth abortion bans, which they did. There are things that they can do that are constructive without impaling themselves on a fence and saying anyone who doesn't do the same is not really with us. So I don't know what he has in mind. He should explain himself. And, Senator Cruz, who introduced this rather ridiculous constitutional amendment, should explain how he thinks this is going to work. It really is unfortunate because however strongly they feel about it, they only make themselves look foolish, and they create dissension on the right at the very time they're trying to win the midterm elections and get some real power and momentum going away from the White House.
But why take to task Ted Cruz, who is specific, and why mock the attempt at a constitutional amendment when that certainly would be the way to go?
Where is it going to come from? Which states is he going to get three-quarters of? Three-quarters of the states is going to vote for this? More than three-quarters of the states have gay marriage already. There's no movement in most of those states.
But by judicial fiat, mostly. The people who have voted, except in very rare cases, have voted against gay marriage.
Where is the groundswell? Where is he going to get three-quarters of the states? We don't have three-quarters of the states for a pro-life Amendment, which is much more popular than gay marriage. Who's he kidding? You know, it really.
All right, let's move on. Yeah. No, go ahead. I mean, I was just going to say, at least, you know, if that's the route he wants to take and he fails, at least he could say he tried, as opposed to people like Scott Walker who said, you know, the boat has sailed, as you pointed out in your piece. If you believe in something that tremendously and you believe it's that important to the fabric and fiber of our society, fighting for it is the thing to do, I would imagine.
Well, you're right, and what they need to do, if that is what they want to do, is what they haven't done for about the last 20 years, and that is change people's minds. Most Americans, a greater percentage with each passing year and with each generation, thinks that gay marriage is a matter of fairness. It's not a form of discrimination to limit it, but it's rather it is a form of discrimination to limit it, and they think it's a matter of simple fairness. That argument is not carrying weight, and unless they can think of some better argument than it harms traditional marriage, which most Americans do not believe, they're not going to win this fight, and I think it has been lost, quite frankly. The irony is that there's a lot they can be doing on heterosexual marriage. Heterosexual marriage is in terrible shape, and there's lots that they could be doing as a social movement to shore that up. And instead, they're having an argument, as Mike Lee likes to say, about the other marriage issue. There is a marriage issue out there, and they're the perfect people, since they care about traditional values, to encourage
Jennifer,
marriage and to work to
good. Good talking to you, Jennifer. I'm up against a hard break. Thank you, as always, Jennifer Rubin, reader at the Right Turn blog at the Washington Post. We're coming back. Little yoga talk first. Don't go away.
We all have had our own perceptions about yoga. For some, it sounds hippie-ish or something their kid would do, but to others, it's a way of life. Perceptions are not reality, and yoga, no matter what your age, has many medical benefits.
You're never too old to start yoga. It's better to start now than to never start at all. And when you start now and you start to gain your practice, you'll become more comfortable when you start doing your yoga practice, and you'll find your path. So there's all different types of yoga, and whatever you're looking for, whether it's gaining flexibility, to de-stressing, to moving from a centered place, or even gaining muscle tone. There's so many benefits to it.
Go at your own pace. Yoga can be done in a comfortable sitting position, standing up, or lying down. With the slow, gentle movements of yoga, you're able to stimulate and relax every part of the body and alleviate muscle and joint pain. There are also poses designed to improve your digestive system.